Good morning, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And you know what it is. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War, damn, Eagle. Okay, all right. So we expected with the leadership of Will Hastings and Eli Stove, we're really excited about that going into this particular season, especially with a true freshman quarterback coming in, Bo Nix, needing that cushion, needing that buffer from the more experienced receivers. Now, here's the deal. Both of these guys suffered ACL injuries. In my honest opinion, I don't think Will Hastings ever fully, effectively recovered from that ACL injury. He just didn't have that same zip that he had during, say, the 2017 season when he had about 500-something yards receiving. Actually, one of Jarrett Stidham's go-to guys during that particular campaign, including a nice one, a nice double route in the LSU game, which it looked like Auburn was about to really run away with that game. Of course, play calling started to get a little sketchy. LSU eases back into the ballgame. Now, back to subject. Eli Stove I really expected or was hoping that Will Hastings would have gotten back to the 2017 form. But when you think about it, an ACL injury is just something that, people recover from it differently. And also, when you have an injury like that, when you have to make so many cuts and you're so dependent on your knee/footwork, I just don't think Will Hastings ever got that trust back in his abilities or agilities as he had in 2017, leading to a 200-something yard campaign in 2019, and not really much as far as super productive as a receiver this year. And with Eli Stove and Will Hastings not being as productive, or maybe not even having the capability to be as productive as they were in the past, really helped Auburn to take a step back, so to speak, in a year that, it was expected Auburn to do pretty good in the passing game. So Auburn really, as far as experience went, had to rely on Seth Williams and Anthony Schwartz. Of course, Anthony Schwartz injured at certain points. Seth Williams battling a shoulder injury. So it just didn't quite work out the way Auburn planned as far as these injuries go either. But back to Eli Stove and Will Hastings. I just think even with some of the schemes that Gus Malzahn likes to run, the guys are too small. They can't really be effective with blocking. I looked at some of the had a chance to look at the LSU game, and a lot of the route running wasn't terrible, but they couldn't get open. They just couldn't get open. I think Auburn did try some quick slants against LSU that did work a little bit, but for the most part, a real effective dig route kind of real deal kind of passing game just was non-existent all year. Now, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but Bo Nix even, I think some mechanics on his part. Bo Nix tended to scramble to his right. And usually what happened is you scramble yourself out of any opportunity to make a play, because usually when he scrambles to the shallow side of the football field, to more of the boundary instead of the field. And you can't really do much because the opposing team can actually use that boundary as an extra defender. So he had nowhere to go, nowhere to throw. That's a whole nother video that we're going to talk about a little bit later on. But I really think the lack of production from Will Hastings and Eli Stove, I just don't think those guys fully recovered. Eli Stove was a little bit effective in the short passing game, caught a nice one against Oregon. But all in all, just a very disappointing season for those guys. And it's just unfortunate how an injury such as an ACL injury can plague a person in their career. But big shout out to Eli Stove and Will Hastings. Some great memories, especially, Will Hastings with the long pass routes. Also, Eli Stove with the jet sweep. Matter of fact, he kind of made that famous. So, just looking back, at the receiver situation at Auburn, it just wasn't quite as great as some of the fan base would like to believe. Very talented guys, but very injury-plagued group. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football like nobody else will. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to our channel, Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War damn Eagle.